What's going on, guys? ShadowNinja, and today I want to make a video talking about the future of Destiny 2. Some of my hopes and aspirations Bungie will take Destiny in this following major expansion. Hopefully we get a brighter year than the recent year in Destiny, and maybe some things I hope for in the next Destiny 3. Let's say that's anywhere close in the works, but I highly doubt that. So far, like I said before, this year has been a bit disappointing, but again, I gotta emphasize that Bungie has kind of stated this was expected. We were gonna kind of get a little bit less content, let's say, to build up for a more bigger thing controlled by Bungie. If you guys kind of forget, I mean, you can't forget now if you're still playing Destiny or watching this video, Activision Bungie split, and that gave Bungie a lot of freedom of where they can take the game that they wanted to. Activision obviously had a lot of say of what Bungie was going to do. We saw that with the production of Destiny 1, we saw in some of the production of Destiny 2, that Activision does have a heavy influence on most of the stuff we saw so far of Destiny, but Bungie has put together some remarkable concept art that we've all seen before that I want to re-go over, and obviously talk about some of the things that are going to be happening in the future. Now, the first one here on screen, we obviously know what's going to happen if you guys follow the event going on currently in the Bungie created, this Destiny 2 Season of the Worthy, season. We know that these pyramids you see on screen are approaching the solar system. Now, when do they arrive? I'm hoping the next major expansion, I want to see something build up for their arrival. But in terms of they're coming, flat out they're coming. I remember seeing this when first installing the first Destiny. I'm wondering, what the hell is that? I want to see what that is. And 5 years, 6 years later, we've never got that taste of what it was. So yeah, I'm excited to see what these things do, and you can see some of this concept art right here specifically is just very beautiful. It looks like very Independence Day, and I'm pretty excited to see what these things do, and I really hope it is a new race, a new faction. We all know they're tied to the fall of the Golden Age, the Great Collapse. Obviously these things were a part of it, so it's exciting to see them come back and kind of scary at the same time. But going into some more concept art. Now this one is pretty cool. It seems to be a hive ship, or maybe potentially even in the pyramid. But we see some guardians, we see some green things. It's very hive-ish setting, some darkness setting. Again, this could be tied to the pyramids. We see in the background there is like this pyramid shape. So maybe when we go into these pyramids or a brand new location, we travel to a brand new system. Maybe outside the solar system, maybe outside the galaxy. We do not know. We do know the Hive have dimensional, obviously ways of being. So, they don't exist in our dimension. Technically, it's all complicated. I'm not even 100% about that. But again, we see this cool concept art, and this is a location I want to see. Again, everything you're seeing here on screen is Bungie created. You guys go on Google, you type in some Destiny concept art, you will see some cool things. And this is a location Bungie can easily create, and have us explore. And I think the lore and the world they built before the game itself is so strong, and Bungie has a endless things to obviously choose from. Now, the next picture on here on screen, we all know this is the opening of the first Destiny. This brings back so much memories. And I want to see a return to this location, maybe outside the walls, even further beyond, and seeing the world outside of that. This location was very cool. Old Russia, definitely, I remember this very vividly, and it was awesome, and I loved every bit of it. And it's a shame that we haven't traveled back to this location. And I do want to see something Bungie doing with the EDZ. I love the zone. I like the season when it comes to location. Wish more was being done, but it is what it is. Now, the next one, if you guys aren't aware, this image here on screen is actually not even in the European Dead Zone. It's not even in Russia. It's nowhere near where we've been. This is Chicago. Now, Bungie did concept art for potentially going to the current, America. Chicago specifically here. This is basically old Chicago, and I want to travel to more cities, more relics of the Golden Age, past civilizations of where humanity once thrived. I want to see the destruction, the post-apocalyptic. What species are out here? The Fallen are reigning king, or they're in a war with the Cabal. I want to see something going on in this part of the world. I want to see obviously other locations, maybe some parts of Asia, stuff like this. Now again, will they fit all this in the next expansion for Destiny? Of course not, but I just want to give a general massive thing going forward. And I think this image is cool to see Chicago, an American city, maybe even more cities around the world being incorporated into locations for Destiny. Now, next one, again, we saw this for Destiny 1. Obviously, we have a Hunter Guardian hiding, and it seems to be the Fallen and a Brute type Fallen. We've never seen this class. I'm actually looking at this. We've never seen this class of Fallen out there. So I'm pretty excited for that. I want to see something like that. I could be wrong, and this could be taken phalanxes, maybe early concept of early taking the ball. But yes, this image is cool, and I want to see, again, potentially, again, maybe additions to the Fallen faction, new things with what we currently know in the game. Now this image obviously, hopefully, maybe is on some point of Earth. It does look like it's a European landscape, but this scene right here is just really awesome. We have ships that actually low-key look like Covenant ships. If you guys played Halo, Bungie worked on Halo, at least the first, obviously the first set of games all the way to Halo Reach. But yeah, this is a very cool scenic thing. If I saw in the world, I want to explore this. And again, I'm going to reiterate, Bungie has a great thing of exploring worlds, creating these massive worlds and letting you have the time of your life. That's why I love Destiny so much. Besides some of my critiques about gameplay, the world is so wonderful, so beautiful, so encouraging to explore, that if they bring locations like this, they expand their lore and bring us new realms of possibilities, the next year for Destiny could be very, very phenomenal. Now, last but not least, this is actually a leaked location. So back in 2018, when the Forsaken dropped, there was talks about Destiny 3, new locations. Obviously, I do not think Destiny 3 is in the works in terms of, in massive production. I do think it's in the early stages, it's planning stages, but this is Europa, a moon of Jupiter, and I want to see this low-key come into play. I want to see more planets or more locations come into play. I know Bungie has stated that they want to reduce asset sizes and the size of the game in general. That is a very fair thing to do, especially with the fact that a lot of these current gen consoles are being stretched. But with next generation consoles on the way, I certainly want to play Destiny on a PS5. Get the hold of that. Obviously, we don't have 30 frames per second on console right now. I want to hopefully get 60 on PS5. We'll see what happens there. But again, I want to explore more worlds, more relics of the golden age and stuff like that. I think Bungie has done a phenomenal job. And again, you guys want to see these cool concept arts, get a phenomenal, great idea going of where we can explore and where we can be playing in the world of Destiny. Look up Destiny concept art just in general, and you can find some phenomenal work, both official work as well as concept art done by fans. All of it's great. All of it's, I watch, it's beautiful, and I just love looking at concept art. If you guys want to see some more great locations, definitely go on Google and type in Destiny concept art, and you will be amazed. Now, going through some of my memories of early Destiny 2, one thing I loved about Destiny 2 from the beginning was the story. The Red War was a phenomenal narrative experiences that made me feel emotionally connected to what was going on, and just feeling like I need to play more. I need to, I felt emotionally connected, I think, in general to the whole story. Gaul was a phenomenal villain. I love his voice. If you guys seen the 1980s Transformers movie, he sounded so much like Unicron, and I love that menacing, deep voice. I really wish we get more deep voice villains like that. But yeah, maybe seeing a prominent villain, a standout villain. We haven't seen one since Forsaken. And I do want to see a villain overarching the story of Bungie, of Destiny. And I want to see Bungie doing something like they did the first 2 years of Destiny. Because again, I think with seasonal content, there's an opportunity to have a branching narrative villain all the way up to the next major expansion. It's a perfect time to build up to that major expansion and then rebuild up to the next major expansion. That's how I'll go. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is, will sunsetting weapons work? Now, we all have some contradicting thoughts about sunsetting. A lot of events will become obsolete. A lot of old things that have been, we've been grinding for so long will become useless. There's no reason to play, Gambit Prime for certain gears, loots, and weapons or other things, because a lot of those weapons theoretically will be sunsetted and they have no value to your build, to your meta. None of that. Now, again, you could still use these weapons, but again, it's going to have no value in the long run in terms of power levels. So will sunsetting work? I think yes. It's going to be a very rough start, a very rough beginning, because we have attachments to so many great guns, so many guns we become so accustomed to, so many guns we're still hunting for to this day. Seeing those guns sunsetted will definitely have an effect on our mentality, our playstyle. But again, this is a brand new surface, and this is only phase 1 this next season. Season 11 is going to be the first phase of sunsetting. Obviously, we can see what the next expansion does when it comes to sunsetting. But I do think in general it's going to be a positive thing, because it's going to make you specifically strive for guns every single season constantly. And I think that's going to be a great thing for replayability. But at the same time, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow, because again, I love my Recluse and I don't know if I can let that go. There's a few other weapons I know I will be missing. But again, so far exotics won't be seeing the sunset, which I'm fine with. But there is other issues with mods and all the other things that, we can all get in depth about. But I just think sunsetting is going to be a hard pill to swallow at first. It's going to be a rough patch. But again, I think in general, we're going to love it as a community, because it's going to bring back a old, grind that we used to have when it came to Destiny 1, getting those weapons, having excitement when we got those weapons, those perfect rolls. But yeah, and last but not least, I know Bungie has talked about this in their, obviously blog posted, but basically abolishing season events. Now, they also mentioned before Season of Worthy that they don't really want to focus too much on seasonal events. They call it, fear of missing out, FOMO. So basically, if you don't do sundial events, or you don't do, let's say, the Seraph Towers right now, your fear of missing out on their gear sets, and it's basically, once you miss out, it basically is catapults into you just not wanting to play. And if you guys look at the player numbers for Destiny, you will see a steady decline. That could be because obviously there is no new massive content like there was Forsaken, Shadowkeep, and obviously the launch of Destiny 2. But again, I do think FOMO has a big part playing, because again, I just finally after all these years gotten extremely comfortable with playing Destiny, understanding my builds, understanding my meta play, understanding my loadouts, my guns, everything. It's a lot to take in. And if you guys step away for 1 week at this current stage, you could be feeling intimidated to hop back in if you're not max power level. But obviously, I'm 10 power levels away from being, 110. I grind it all the way up to 1,000 power levels, so I do feel confident, I do feel comfortable where I can start tuning gear sets to my liking, keeping gears around for certain reason, creating certain builds for PvE, PvP, Gambit, stuff like that. I really do feel comfortable with that. But again, not everybody's in that state, and it is really intimidating. So, obviously abolishing FOMO and seasonal events like the Seraph Towers, Sundial, and all that other stuff, I do think will bring a positive reinforcement to, hey guys, you guys haven't played Destiny in a while, come back in. We have a ton of stuff you could do. It's not all thing, you could catch up, and yeah, I think that will help the state of Destiny when it comes to replayability a lot, and obviously getting people back into the game without fear of like having a lot to catch up to do. But hopefully, I mean, we probably won't see that till the next expansion. Man, that was definitely a long fucking thing to talk about. But again, as you could tell, I love Destiny 2. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be making content for this game. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about what I said. Do you guys agree with me on the concept art? We want to see new locations. We want to see stronger narrative cinematics, or just narrative stories, an overarching villain. All these different things we want to see in the world itself. Not even gameplay, just general things in the world. A new location to explore. Doesn't have to be a phenomenal location, just a beautiful locations with mysteries and obviously new things to do. But yeah, let me know what you guys think on that one. But if you guys enjoyed what you saw, obviously like this video, would be greatly appreciated. It helps out the video a lot, and it shows me that you guys enjoyed this content, as well as subscribe for more Destiny 2 content like this, gameplays, build breakdowns, top weapons, all that other stuff is going to be coming with Season 11. I'm building up, trying to get my grind ready for that next season to bring some awesome content for you guys. But that being said, that's all I got to say on this one. Make sure you guys check out my later Battlefield 4 video. We check out Battlefield 4, we return to it, and we have a great time. Man, Battlefield 4, what a great game. But yeah, everything Destiny 2, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. That being said, hope you guys have a good one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.